Learning and adapting. So collaborating here, you can see the different kind of representation that we have. We have from civil society, we have from structures. I believe we have some from civil society. And also we have from civic structures. So when I say civic structures, I'm referring to the structures that were actually established based on the objectives of CIPP. So we have the CPOs, Community Use Observers, and we have the CMRCs, that's the Conflict Mitigation Regional Council, the Management Regional Council, and we equally have traditional rulers. And the traditional rulers are part of the Community Development Committees, CDCs. Also, I don't know if we have representation from our mediators. Is there any from mediator here? I believe some of us are wearing like 3 caps. So mediator. So yes, we have some are wearing like 3 caps. Some mediators, CPOs, and some are even community leaders. So then, based on this configuration here, so the essence is just for us to sit together, as in collaborating together, to learn. And the learnings, we hope that the learnings that are coming from here are kind of be used for possible improvement or adapting into the project for possible kind of strengthening of the project. So with this, we hope to stay here from now to like 6 p.m. But we shouldn't bother much because we have tea, we have lunch, and we were told that the chicken is a bit big. But if it's not big, then let's hear from the section what they have for us. So with this, I would like to welcome you all, and also kind of solicit for your active participation, because we believe that without your feedback, this will not be possible. So you are welcome. Thank you.
Representing various interests, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, members of the press, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I stand in to represent the special advisor to the governor of security matters, Haji Ibrahim Ahmed Katsina, who is unavoidably absent, but has directed me to come and represent him in this occasion. As the special advisor, would have loved to be personally here, but due to exigencies of time and various commitments, maybe in his office he will not be able to be here. But he directed me to convey his uttermost happiness and heartfelt greetings to the organizers and the participants, because to our office, any organization that will bear the name community initiatives to promote peace. Peace is very important, because without peace, I think nothing can happen. Every society aspires to promote peace, because peace is not only important, but it is very essential in all human progress, in all human activities. So he directed me to express his happiness to the organizers of this event, and we pray to Allah to continue to bring peace to Nigeria, peace to Africa, and peace to the whole world. Because this saying that those who make peaceful changes inevitable, those who make peaceful changes inaccessible will make violent ones inevitable. So we pray to Allah to continue to give us peace, and we thank you said and the Mexicans for promoting peace, not only in Nigeria but across the globe. So with this, we are happy, and we are very gratitude to the organizers of this event. May Allah see us through, and we hope to listen a very fruitful deliberations, and at the end of the event, we hope we will go home to be much more informed on how to preserve and maintain peace. Thank you.
Thank you once again for honoring our invite. We're very grateful to see very important stakeholders that make things happen in Katsina. We're very happy to have you guys with us this morning. Oga Gambo, he made my work easy by starting. He has started like giving us a tip on what this session is all about. There is a very popular saying in Hausa that when we are at yes, for us in the CIPP program, we want to get feedback for everything that we're doing, stakeholders that we're working with. We would like to get feedback from you people. What have we been doing that we're doing well? What have we been doing maybe so basically that's what this session is all about. We'll be doing CLA. Collaborating and adapting. That prevention is continuous, but collaboration, adapting. It's adapting, it's continuous. It's something that we want it to continue. Because our context here can change. Like in Katsina now, I know the context has changed. With this new policy on cash and all, everything has changed a lot. So for us, we want to see how is our program, how are we faring, the activities that we're implementing, is it in tandem with the context in communities? Because if I'm doing, example, a community dialogue in Katsina, maybe in Abattoir, it's going to be different with a community dialogue in Kofomarusa, yes or no?
Yes.
Because Abubuwa Eke Parachkin, why non communities is different. So how do we apply context? Activities in Modemukei, not doing one size fits all. Designing activities specifically for people in Kofomarusa, for community members in Abattoir, from the ones in Tudu Elihida. How are we designing our activities to make sure you're fitting context aware non-communities the Wiki? Because even in Abattoir, if I'm designing activities for community leaders, the context of that activity is somewhat different from activity that is targeting women. Yes or no? Whole activity they can targeting Matasa, took the chain the same community. So for us, CLA is just looking at how do we implement activity that is adaptive. Kuma we using one activity that okay, we are doing learning. We are learning. Okay, maybe in night activity this way. Like some of the activities that we did, some of the learnings that we got in our activities that we did, in example, Kaduna and maybe Plateau. With the learnings that we got, they said, we did any activity at local government level. Mutane communities are so activity to keep community into. So going forward, any activity that we're taking it down to the community. So if you do activity at community level, that's the program, yes or no? That's here participating, yes or no? Yes. Because maybe in Kakao, local government, go a hotel, most fee in Sugo, money you pay for lunch, money you pay for tea break, and maybe in community, matter the scale of community, so it's like giving back to the community. You're giving back to the community. Kuma kana amfani da wannan kana promoting cohesion. Wannan matan ba cikin maybe girke da suke yi, they interact with themselves. Maybe ordinarily ma ba za a ga wannan ba. Amma because of wannan abubuwa da ya faru za a fara ganin cuɗanya tsakanin mutane a community. Wani yana community in ka baka san shi ba, amma saboda wannan program da aka kawo cikin community, you start knowing people. And you have people owning the process. You have community members. That's you take in charge. So for us, in Kundubama, the meaning of CIPP, community initiative. The Baru, the Hanyoyi, the Mutanen communities, that's Fito, the Shi, the Assam, life here. So we'll be looking at the objective, like I said. How do we collaborate? Number one, from activity that we can implementing. Munko, you want to then we go back to adapting. Are we infusing it to Abubuwa Mukei going forward? We're using it to take better decisions. Because in Kaduba or in Kunduba, if you're doing this, you save yourself time, you save yourself resources, you're saving yourself money. Because in Kaji, you're implementing activity and there's no learning, you're just going, you're not learning anything. You end up implementing activity that is not of use to people in the community. Number one, you can't implement an activity in the campus of yes or no. You spend money, you bring maybe the wrong stakeholders, and at the end of the day, activity in Bema the Tasiri, people will just come, yes, Muzo, Abosiko is Chikabada Abubuansu, Zamuzo Uchi, breakfast, Uchi lunch, Shikena Intariawat, everybody will go. So for us, we want to go back to that mantra. If you're looking back, I don't take it because you want to get the one in front. So we'll come and look at the objective. Why do we do this? Yes, I'm okay in CLA, collaborating, learning, and adapting. Look at the objective. Sorry, can you help me to read number one objective? If you can see that.
Okay, too. I can see. To ensure that the project remains effective and relevant, and the project is collaborating with the right stakeholders at the right time to promote synergy.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So we have keywords. It's effective. Effectiveness of what you are doing. And it's relevant. We have in context. We have to make sure you're implementing activity that is relevant to a community. You don't pick an activity that is not relevant to people to the Enlihida and you take that activity to that place. They will look at you like, one meyeke fada. If you take an activity, I can maybe the drug abuse, is it relevant? Is it relevant?
No.
Is it relevant?
No.
It's not. What have you taken to go for Marusa?
It's relevant.
It's relevant. So who can we get in context the muke fada? So if you go for Marusa or Abatua and you do that activity, have you succeeded in wasting money? Yes. You waste money, you waste time, you waste effort. Everything. How is this a zero? This is a zero. And the right stakeholders, who are you bringing to your activity? Sometimes you see people who's actually community, me and Guama be master the one of Ungiaba. Go and check Ungiani activity, say maybe matter some other Sikema, Bama and one on community, see a house or your activity. As a start pick up as a t-shirt, chicken out, you to a fee. So are you bringing the right stakeholders, people that can make decision? See here, chance that people are AK Parua community. Are you engaging them? Kuma, I want to look at you. It's very, very critical. Like this time now, I want them highly the Mukechiki. What activities do you feel in Ainise is relevant?
Anything peaceful on election violence.
You see, if you're talking about peaceful election, because of the time the Mukechiki, if you bring something else, people will not answer you. Like I wonder, it's not relevant to look at you the Mukechiki. So also we're talking about the change in conflict dynamics. Yana chanzawa. Apupa leke hybrid conflict. Yana chanzawa. And we can see it. Yenzu with the scarcity of naira now, we know dynamics in Yachanza. Yenzu masu POS, Yenzu Suzama Kawansara Kunava. In Abuja, if you're collecting 10,000, they will charge you 2,000. And it's causing a lot of pockets of small violence that you have around. And it's changing the way we're seeing things. So what is the changing conflict dynamics? And what is their degree of, how complex is it? How serious is it? And also again, which is very, very prior, we're looking at learnings. Learnings, the showering, recommendations, the Zakubada, that we can adapt for subsequent programs that we'll be doing. So I would just want to take us on an overview of the activities that we've been doing, we've been implementing in Katsina. I know we did one or two activities. Any community dialogue that any abattoir, any kofa burusa, any kofa buga, kuma any one activity still to do any hida. Kuma any training on dispute resolution. I know when collaborating with Savannah Center, I one activity. I can ADR, alternative dispute resolution. Kuma youth dialogue, I can pre-election violence. Yen does the peaceful election. Kuma training conflict sensitivity, the do no harm. Kuma activity I can make majorly looking at women and their contribution, how women can come in and see how we can have a peaceful election. So I wouldn't want to go far. For me, this session is going to be elicitive. It's going to be more of getting from you. I'm not coming here to teach. You people know your community better. It's going to be more of an elicitive session. How do we, going forward now, the last year we're having on the CIPP program, how do we implement context-specific activities in communities in Katsina? What do you think we can do better to work with community members in Katsina State to make sure that our activities remain relevant. So I will start with, before I do that, I want to have your views on what you feel about the CIPP. So what have we done well in terms of participant selection?
There was a time we paid a advocacy visit to stakeholders and religious leaders as CIPP.
Okay.
So who are involved in that?
The people that we invite for CIPP program in terms of participant selection. Is it holistic?
It's a same MRC.
Is it balanced? Does it represent?
What she's saying is that I believe most of us here have attended 1 or 2 or 3 or 5 activities under CIPP, either by IMC, Mexico, AGDA, Harry, Savannah. So in those activities, the market, based on our observation, I can participate in the Akira Skazona Makai interactive program to make perception on those participants that Akira. Participants, you are very okay in terms of presentation. Is it okay? For instance, like how am I going to say Max? And I believe you are representing youth council at CMX. So now, for instance, activities in the Wiki, when the Kasha for IMC or CMX may Mahanganka in terms of participant in the Skizua. Is it balanced? Is it holistic? Is it okay? Or there are some things that need to be done?
Based on most of the programs I attended, a lot say that there is gender equity in most of the programs, because most of the people that attend are based on selection.
We'll be coming to that aspect of gender, because if you look at your agenda, there's a place that we're looking at gender sensitivity. But just looking at the participants that can call program, maybe we're not really doing it right, like the way officer. Okay, so if we have exhausted, let's go to what we have not done well in terms of participant selection. Do you have?
It's okay.
It's okay. So let's go to what has not worked. What has not worked for here?
Okay, back to officers at the house of safe area.
Okay, you talked about officer.
You're supposed to include this
NSCDC, okay?
NDLA.
NDLA.
Yeah, they're supposed to be part of the program all the time.
Okay.
They don't normally come every day, all the time.
But do you think they are relevant?
They are very much relevant.
With Katsina context?
Yes, because most of these issues, whatever the problem we are having here, majority of the problem came from this Shaisha issue. So NDLA is vital, they will play a vital role here.
Okay.
Not only NDLA, we said.
Okay.
Even the police.
Police are part of us. They are not coming.
Part of it,
They are part of us.
But
they are not coming. So it's not their problem. They have invited them.
Okay.
It is not a CIPP problem.
But that of NDLA, that has been solved.
Based on the program that I attended, you are inviting very important people. But my advice is that it's better to invite police. Police.
Police are part of this.
I know that they are.
It's feedback.
I know that they are part of.
Everybody's, yes, we collect everybody's feedback. We're collecting everybody's. So you said we should invite police.
Yeah.
In all our activities.
Exactly.
Look, activities in the
It's better to invite police.
Police, do you mean, like maybe if I'm doing activity in early Hida, I should look for the police division in that community and have their officers attend that activity? Is that what you meant?
Yeah.
So is that all for what has not worked in terms of our participant selection?
On this one, let me check.
Okay, come on,
When we said that in each activity that we are doing, we should invite police. Civil defense, they are more of civilians mediation. There are some people, whenever a police is there, they will not even attend, especially when you are advocating for drug abuse and other things. The youth, whenever they saw a policeman inside his with his uniform, they may be afraid of coming to that place. They may be thinking that they will be identified as a crime or something like that.
Okay. The do no harm aspect, but looking at the do no harm aspect. So should we still leave that? Or let's put in some, not all. You say in some of our activities, not all our activities.
I think it's important and necessary for police to be in all activities. But the police officer can decide not to be in uniform.
Coming on board.
Yes.
Okay. Let me chip in. Yesterday I was having a conversation with Anat Muhammad, chairperson or chairwoman of journalists in Katsina State. She was supposed to be here, but she's kind of a little bit healthy, like I am kind of here. So she was like raising some concern in us media. As you know, we have a structure called Media Forum, the Mukakafa. So yesterday we were having this discussion and she was like, up to now, we structuring, but there has not been much concern from CIPP, either Mexico or IMC. They have written proposal, activities that are seeing trainings from them, but how is the issue?
Yes, I have to come to that aspect because we'll be looking at implementation of action plan. Yes, we'll be coming to that aspect. So we'll be looking at the follow-up. How effective has it been? What we have done well and what we have not really done well. So we'll be coming to that.
Okay.
We have something.
So yes, I just want to chip in. So maybe when we are looking at selection of participants, can we just make comment about the process? So what is the process? Are we okay with the process of inviting participants to attend the CIPP activities? It's very okay.
In the process, sometimes invitees get invited a bit late. There is a need, at least if possible, to have invitation maybe 3, 4, 5 days earlier, so that one can prepare or plan or put in his schedules in order so that he can attend properly. I think that is one of the complaints that Hamnatu Mohammed made one time, that she was not giving ample time.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you, sir. We'll have a separate session where we'll be talking about time, meeting time. But when Gambo was talking about the process, I think he meant sometimes maybe we use through Maso Angwa to draft, to bring participants from communities. Sometimes we use the women leaders to bring participants, sometimes youth leaders. Do we feel, is it okay? Are they lopsided in regards to the kind of participants they bring for the program? Yeah, so when we talk about process, basically.
All right, the process is okay. My own concern is sometimes whenever there is a program, you find out that one person keeps on getting a invitation. They will invite somebody today, tomorrow you will be also
One
invited.
person will be in all CIPP programs. Kuma hali akwai mutane cikin wannan anguwan da suka yi fitting wannan criteria. Ya kamata a ce su ma sun shigo an yi da su. Okay? Having one person attending multiple CIPP programs. For all the states, this is even for Kano. We had this particular complaint. But for some people, we can't really do any without them because they are very key stakeholders. Because when you have somebody like Mimiangwa, Ihakimi, they are very key. But for others, you can't change it. That role is you have this person as this particular duty bearer in, or maybe a House of Rep member. He is holding that seat. But what of for other slots in that community that we can swap? Can we have like maybe somebody representing the youth, somebody representing the women? Can we have other people coming on board to be part of the process?
Yeah, let me still say something about the community leads. You see that most of the communities we have, you can have more than one community lead in a community. Like let me start an example like Ofabuga. You find out we have more than 2 to 3 community leads in that area. And whenever there is an event, you will see that one particular community lead will keep on coming. He will keep on coming. So at least the other community lead should be given an equal opportunity, yes. So that this program will go directly to them. They will understand what this program is all about. You find that, okay, even the Mengwa, when they say, please mobilize some people, he will call members of his family. They will keep on coming. Yes. So that's what I tend to observe. Even from my own program, the Women Critical Discussion Group, whenever I'm recruiting, you find out that one Mengwa will bring like 10 people from his own side, which is not supposed to be like that. If you are bringing, okay, we are supposed to select. We choose 1 or 2 people from this particular community. We'll go to another different area of another different Mengwa. You choose 1 or 2 people so that the program will be spread across the whole community, not just one Mengwa. Thank you.
Okay. The house is becoming interactive. I like that. Okay.
Just a follow-up to this response. I wanted to know how far, maybe this sometimes I help us with the answer to this. How much do you follow up with the community leaders when they attend the program so that they can do a step down effectively to the communities? Because during an interaction, somebody complained that sometimes when the community leaders attend programs, they don't even know maybe if they attend the program, there is no step down from the community leaders.
Yes, we'll have a session where we'll talk about follow-up. I think maybe that put that in our parking lot. We'll bring that up when that session comes in. Like Hajia wants to say.
I want to add that's the one person representative. I think the invitation should henceforth be directly saying that the same person should not be coming. A different person should rather be identified so that at least they understand. If it keeps repeating, there it means it's something else. But I think the invitation should specifically indicate that a different person is supposed to come. If there are 3, maybe the needs, then it should indicate a different one. I think that will be better.
Thank you very much, Haja. Haja has started giving us a recommendation with regards to some of the issues that will happen. So let's look at representation. Representation, what has worked in terms of representation? We know in communities we have persons living with disability, we have women, akwai matasa, akwai masu abuani. In terms of representation, what have we done well? Our activities, does it capture all the colors we have in that communities? Sometimes in the community you have Christians, Muslims. Do we capture some of those things, those colors that we have in our communities? So what has worked? What have we done well in terms of representation, bringing in the colors we have in our communities as part of participants to our activities?
In terms of this, there is a program we did in Government CIPP about drug abuse. So we used to invite those people that have drug and selling it. By that time, there are some of them that promised that they have stopped doing this kind of thing.
Okay. So activities, activities the IMC, PARI, SCDD, ARDA, Mexico, the CKE are communities. We didn't come on time. We came in like 1 hour late. So let's have. So what have we not done well in terms of representation? Do you feel for the activities? Do you feel people are ably represented in our activities? What have we not done well in terms of representation?
Part of this program, I attend so many programs. My observation is person with disabilities, like Makabi and Gurab. They have representation, but a part of big person, which was formerly known as Kurani, I didn't see any representation of the people. That is my observation.
So, as you said, especially Mercy Corps, I attend so many programs with Mercy Corps. But as he said, Mercy Corps are not inviting Guragu, Makafi, and abilities people. But I was an attended program in Jos. That program were conducted or were invite northern states people. So we were attended with Guragu in that program and Makafi. So from my own opinion, I can see without inviting Div, they has an excuse because those people cannot hear. And the Guragu can see, can hear, blind can hear. So how will this program invite deaf people? So it is very difficult for them to invite them without any those people to attend daily program and about the issue. So this is what I can say, please.
Yes, for Mercy Corps, well, in the spirit of inclusiveness, there is a provision for if you're bringing somebody that is deaf, you can bring in a person that will help that person sign, yes, and then anything that you're giving to program participants, that person is also entitled to that.
Da mata a cikin wuraren taro. To abin da nake so in ce, idan an kawo mata da matasa, a nuna masa amfanin abin da za a je a yi a cikin society ba dan kuɗin transport da ake badawa ba, saboda wasu abin da ke kawo surin taro kenan a zuwa ɗan ci abinci transport da an kuma kika tambayi ne aka ce mutum bai sani ba. To idan an tashi ɗauko mata a ɗauko waɗanda za su iya fahimtar da 'yan cikin unguwa, sau duk tsakanin su abin yake faruwa. Tunda yanzu zaki ga an ɗauko mace ta zo a yi taro da ita, in ta koma ta faɗi ma ƙawarta ba za ta iya ba. Dan transport ta samu za a zo a kashe tare a yi kunshi a yare shi kenan ya tashi aiki abin da zai yi. So ya kamata a samu masu ilimin abin, ko kuma 'ya'yan talakawa da su ne ake bari baya, wacce ta iya karatu ba ta iya komai ba, amma in ta zo ta ji ta fahimta za ki ga mata ko wacce ta je karatun waje amfanin faɗin abin da aka yi a wurin taro, kuma da haka abin yake yaduwa.
A shirin da ake na wake ɗaya kusan duk ranar asabar ana shiri, kuma live program ne ake yi, so kuma yana karaɗa ko'ina, saboda a kwamfanin FM muna da dogon zango gaskiya, kusan daga filato ina ne duka abin ga kasashen nan zaka abin ga jihohin nan na kudanci suna kama mu, kuma duk suna ji abin da ake yi, kuma bayan mun gama program din still ana tura shi a Jos, so ko ina ana saurara wannan program din, so gaskiya suna kokari sosai, musamman wajen ganin an wayar makan al'umma da kai, kuma an faɗakar da su game da abubuwan da ke abin ga musamman ta bangaren tsaro da kuma shaye-shaye da fataucin miyagun kwayoyi da sauransu.
Wanda ake irin every Saturday karfe 12 na rana a nan kamfanin FM. So abin da kawai zan ci a nan shine mu mutane mu ya kamata a ce mu da muka san cewa program ɗin yana airing, duk da women critical discussion group ɗin suna big based on unguwar da suke aiki, suna kokari suna ƙara wayar da mutane. So mu ma idan muka zo activity haka muka ɗan ji labarin cewa okay akwai wani program da ake ce ma wake ɗaya wanda ke airing a so time, so sai mu relenting. Honestly ba kowa bane ba ke kallon yake sauraron rediyo, ba kowa ke sauraron rediyo ba, amma kuma abin da ke faruwa duka is just like a network. Idan ni na san cewa wannan yana faruwa, kuma sannan program ne wanda ke kayatarwa haka, ya kamata in create a network in gaya wanda ke kusa da yau, shi kuma wannan daga nan zai kara create the network. So kafin mu sani wannan program din zai je ko'ina, kuma ko'ina za a san da cewa wake ɗaya na airing karfe 12 wace asabar.
Ina ce magana da ni ma kana ce ba ina magana kan program bane, kuma ina magana hakan program ne. Wato abin da nake nufi, kuna yin program an san kuna yi, masu ji suna ji, to amma shi wannan ziyara da za a kai, kaga za a zo a samu jiyam ne mun zo mu kama ziyara, mu ne masu abu kaza, kuma ayyukan da muke su ne kaza da kaza da kaza da kaza. Jiyam zai sa a sa a cikin labarai, masu kallon labarai sun san ku, sun san kuna yi, ka gani wancan wani gidan rediyo guda ne, kai kuma yanzu ana so ka kewaye kamar gidan rediyo 3 ko 4 ko 5. Ina ba ta kafin abin da nake nufi, saboda su mutane din su san cewa ana yin, akwai kuma sannan ana yi, saboda yanzu program da ake samu da yawa zaka je wani wuri ka ce misali kai ne chairman na CMRC ko secretary na CMRC ba su ma sani ba a san menene ba kuma menene ake kuma. Mala bai ina fatan ko fahimci wannan yawa.
Let me say something just in brief. If my you are in a program, then cikin ina jin su suka fara program on ya za a yi a zabe, ya za a zauna lahiya bayan zabe, ni ne an kwarin din program din wata Saturday, sannan shi kuma Mr. Adwork secretary ne, shi ma ya taba zuwa, he was invited, amma dai abin da nake so su gane kamar yadda yake as a member na CPOs, so kuma wancan gidan rediyo kamar da aka faɗi ɗaya ne, duk in kun yi program ka ɗora shi a cikin platform ɗin, it's like a follow up, mu kuma kaga za ka ɗauka kai sharing to other groups wanda you dukkan we belong to different groups na WhatsApp, in ka ƙara ɗorawa shi ma wannan zai ta a san menene ma ake yi a ciki. Ka fahimce ni?
Abinda ake magana
yanzu kai as a CPO kuma can ardakaci in aka gama program din nan tunda suna turuwa kamar da muka gama program companion sun turo mana so muka share to other platforms kai ma yanzu duk week in suka yi ka saka a CPO's platform sai mana sai mu kuma sai mu ƙara share to other groups kaga is wider than
okay, I think it's noted about other organizations working on it. I think we used to dedicate like some minutes. Yes. Unfortunately today so we used to like set aside some few minutes before commencement of any activity to like take us through the number of organizations that are working on their CIPP and also say one or two things about what they do. So unfortunately I think we forgot to do that today. So thank you for the recommendation. We can take that forward.
And on this issue of publicity, after I think now what she's saying, while we are talking, saying the message in another same maxi Benue, they sent when he newscast the Ake broadcast a front page na this day New Nigeria, all the big one of them print media this in Oka may capture me say Maxi condone Nigerian police family of DPO na wanda aka kashe a can in ga wannan me suka advocacy suka yi abinda shi ina ga malaki mace magana kenan they pay advocacy to the police wannan da aka yi kamar yanzu issue nan da ya faru na bakore we suppose say Maxi as a team can go sai mu rike media persons ko NTA AIT ko sabo kai mu je so wannan in mun je aiki biyu muka yi na daya mu mene pin advocacy condolence na biyu kuma we are being known sannan kuma akwai dan jarida da ya da cewa mun yi kaza an san mu a CMRC an san mu a CIPP sannan ko ba kan sannan kuma san da ga bakorin nan mu rubuta wasiƙa mu aika cewa muna jaje saboda secretary zai judge mana inda muke dan lakin kenan akwai issue na publicity din gaskiya we are not making us and to me as a communication man it's a slap on my face gaskiya so I think as for ya kamata a ce mai strengthening wannan issue din publicity din nan duk ko da all this advocacy da muka je a baya in muka ruwa ba ma zuwa da media person ko akwai media din ba da muka je da sa hannatu ma amma me ba a zuwa da niyan ai publicizing din shi dan most of our media muna zuwa kai ma ka je wasu hannatu ma chairperson ta ba amma ba a publicizing shi so henceforth za mu fara kamar wannan ga yanda wannan ne zo ga wannan advocacy ke suka amma in na fara nuna muku all this wanda sun kai 10 da suka dauke shi kun gani akwai wani shi ma nan kasar kun ga rawa advocacy kawai ne suke amma ga wakil almost a Benue all the media wannan din Benue sai da suka dauka saboda sun yi kuma ba wani kudi bane mai yawa idan akwai alaka kamar Kaduna na ta magana Kaduna ba sa kashe wani kudi in dai ba wai an yi irin media forum activity ba duk wani activity da kuka gana Katsina free ne saboda su sun kama NUJ din abinda aka yi kenan ku dawo za idea behind Samson abinda Mr. Samson yayi NGO din ya kama aka yi collaborating duk wani activity da za a sai a tura musu kuke yi mu za mu yi wannan supporting ga mu da idea kuku wannan dole su yi abin su so ina ganin akwai platform din mu na media forum Katsina wanda gabaki ɗaya is not functioning ina ga yau dinnan zan always sannan ayyukan nan da muka yi za mu fara a also talk to Hannatu an jawa mu ga ya za mu strengthening wannan sai mu start thinking of how to pay some advocacy ko later as we say sai mu hada media din sace
akwai wani program da aka invite dina na yi magana NTA sai da na squeezing some 2-3 minutes na yi magana akan CMMRC that is another way so idan kai an kira ka ko abin nan na san na arda wanda ake wake daya da na yi magana I chipped in 1 or 2 words game da CMMRC a wurin so it's another way of abin nan creating awareness din
based on advocacy din da muke sai ga ya kamata a ce kada ya zamanto kamar yanzu advocacy na CP da muka ji ya kamata a ce a banda CP director SS and other team kada ya zamanto ya zama kamar routine za a rika yi shi bayan lokaci kadan za a kara zuwa bayan lokaci kadan za a kara zuwa kada ya zama to kamar yanzu CP da ya zo an yi je an yi familiarization visit ba a ƙara zuwa sai kuma an kawo wani sabo sai in ga is better mu rika bi routine su kansu za su san we are still active sannan kuma suna sane da abin da muke su ma muna sane da abubuwan da suke sun da kaga yanzu in Allah ya taimake mu za mu yi wannan next program din mu akan kaurayen na sabon unguwa so there is need kamar shi yadda CP ya recommending din OC anti kaurayen so dukkan mu je mu visiting din shi OC anti kaurayen mu ga tunda ni tun ranar da muka discussion na haɗi mai CP ma ya recommending din shi based on visiting da muka je kuma he was so happy saboda case na je na sasanci na wani yaro ya je ya bibi wata mata aure amma da na zo bari wani ma I think da masu unguwan nan nan mai unguwa jan guda biyu surukanta ne akwai mai unguwa da ya lihida da mai unguwai turarika ko something so based on ni mun haɗu da su muna haɗuwa a wannan da sun ce kai kotu za a te ina zuwa sai na ce aini na san shi na ce kaji sai aka ce kash ranka ne ba mu so muka ganka ba kaza kuma su ma impression din yan sandan da na faɗi masu saboda ranar da aka yi case din da daddare da following day za mu je visitation na CP na ce masu da Allah to excuse me ba zan zo karfe 10 ba zan je in ga CP su kansu sai ba su a to shi wannan abin farko da suka fara tambaya ta am I security personnel na ce a kai dan jarida ne na ce no ina da issue da zan je discussion da shi da aka dawo kuma na shiga wajen OC din na nuna mai hotunan da ne snapping wallahi ranar case din ya mutu ranar nan take shi mai unguwa can da su zo sun ce kawai a tai kotu wa abin da ya sha masu kai sai sun jiya aka yi saboda shi ya mistake zuwa ta kan sasanci da suwa ne tana nuna shi ne ya ba wata mata shara ta je tenantin din a personal apartment kawai next abin da zai kawai sai kai mata bugu so kun gani so wannan kan shi sai rako ni ji ne kama amma masu fi na ranar ta kai something
musamman game da courtesy visit da ake kewa bucket visit akwai kaman kofar kaura da ya magana a baya akwai office din civil defense da aka bude so ya kamata su ma a samu lokaci a je a kai masu wannan abin ga ziyara domin a dan zauna da su a tattauna so ofis din yana nan wajen gidan Nelly ina ga za ku san ofis din kuma ga ofisa nan so ya kamata su ma a kai masu abin ga a tattauna da su gane da musamman abin da ke faruwa a kofar kaura
Allah bai ce sun samu canjin komanda yawa to sun kasar ina fatan kai ma kana cikin nan sai mai martaba sarki kusan shi ma ya tafi asibiti ya yi jinya wata da watanni ya dawo to kuma lokacin akwai wani bisit da muka je da su imam ina jin mu ne bakin da ya amsa na karshe ya tafi asibiti yawa to ya kamata shi ma ce an koma an mai barka da dawowa da sami da jiki
gaskiya ne
an fahimta ko?
kuna samu kuna aiwatar da sakonni da aka ce in kuma ba kwa samu mene wani dalili akwai cikas ko me what is preventing you people from implementing action plan how effective has it even been mama let's start from that
how effective
okay
honestly from zan magana kan site din Mexico because akwai activities da muka yi da dama wanda za mu zauna after the activity during the activity za mu drafting din action plan amma kuma yanda muka drafting din shi kuka tafi da shi kenan ya tafi bai kara dawowa ba magana a zuwa ya implementing ba komai mu dai mun rubuta ya tafi shi kenan ba labari so to this aspect gaskiya Mexico is not trying wajen action plan ba a yin shi gaskiya
ko ya hakuri magana ta da mai
no haka ake so that's why we are here yanzu da wannan shugaban kasa ya hau sai ka ji ana maganar body language ko a cayi ba mai magana sosai amma body language shi ake gane so from her body language I knew there was zero linkage or collaboration between the Wakedea women and other groups in the community. Do you know of the CPOs? In some activities, CPOs. Kisan CMMRC. Do you know the women trained mediators? You don't know them. So the linkage is kind of poor.
It's a little bit poor.
But I want to synergy because sometimes maybe maybe NYK there's an activity, do the CIPP, CMMRC say this activity. Or sometimes CPOs and maybe chicken abattoir sooner program NYK there say this and CPOs now that's a program. Go. It's not the linkage is not as it's not as strong as it's not robust. Collaborating in activity. Who are you collaborating? Do you collaborate? Sometimes maybe like from the discussions I've had with you people since morning, it seems quite a lot of issues in Katsina. Kuma, if you're talking about issue around come in the office you don't use one approach. When multiple approaches you bring religious leaders, you bring NDLE, you bring everybody. Religious leaders will tell them when they are dealing NDLE will tell them, okay, this is illegal, this is how many years you spend in prison. Go. If you bring the doctor will tell you gashi. Everybody will bring their angle into it. If you don't have that linkage, or you don't even know the religious leaders who were trained, to even bring them into that component of maybe the activity of maybe drug abuse or something you want to do in your community, do you think that activity will be effective?
No.
So let me give Mendos to.
Let me say something about this
collaboration. Yes.
Collaboration honestly but amma matsalar da ake samu shine repeating the same participant. Idan yau aka kira ka zo program, gobe aka kara kiran ka, akwai waɗanda suna nan baya ba za su sani ba. Kuma in zai kai ma an kira ka yau ka zo program, in ka dawo ka samu mutanen ka sai ka sanar da su ka ce okay ga abin da aka yi ba a yi. So that's why in yau an kira ni, gobe an kira ni, jibi an kira ni, to su sauran fa ba za su sani ba. So ko ni na dawo ba na faɗin cewa na je na program kuma ga abin da aka tattauna. So gaskiya matsalar da dai muke samu kenan, but amma ana dai kokari wajen collaboration.
Please, I want to say something. Mine is, let's say, come on, with regards to this collaboration. In Badamantaba, last training that that is what we did to personally, as in charge of PCR, na civil defense at Katsina State Command, when they requesting a training. My belief is that I will still emphasize on the training because I know how much we go in terms of mediation. Still, not only Mexico, the Sauran partners still in a appealing training staff at ADR will still assist a lot because at the people local governments in a year we are resolving close to 5,000 civil cases across Katsina State. So if you look at by enhancing capacity in training I'm here resolving 5,000 civil cases. To what of in akace an samu training an ƙara ma waɗanda ke yin abin training cewa this is another way in which za ku iya resolving cases. I think and I believe kila a shekara we can target in be higher than abin da muka yi. Kuma we still requested wanda I believe shi ma Chief Justice Abbas promised me cewa whenever muke da wani issue wanda ya shafi ADR at local government headquarters na kowane local government, ya ba da damar cewa staff ɗinmu ya samu alƙali da ke wurin, and he believed cewa za a yi binding abin ya zama doka, ba za a ba wanda zai tamfar da shi. So still Malam Gambo yana ƙara feeling not only Mexico, other partners da ke cikin wannan abin, please, if there is any way you can come in training staff na NSCDC, ko training na staff a NSCDC, I think you will still boost issue na mediation a Katsina State.
Okay, training on what?
Mediation. Alternative dispute resolution. We already sent a letter to Mexico with regards to this program. I believe Doctor is working towards achieving one. So in that other partners, if there is any way that I say coming in collaboration with Mexico, I actualize one avenue. We are still appealing. So in again one will help a lot. In muka samu wannan training na staff na tabbata har ga Allah za mu enhance capacity na ADR. Thank you very much.
DSS, Director DSS, then there is advocacy that we have done to Sector Commandant Civil Defense, and there is another one that we have done to Sector Commandant NDLEA, and there is another one we have done to area of Katsina. So then, there are another success activity that we have done. There is sensitization against youth involvement in Kauraye activities, that is banditry and criminality. Then there is another activity we have done, sensitization of youth on election violence. And there is another activity that all interventions against harassment of foodstuff dealers by customs officers. We have all done it. And there is another one that we have done, that is sensitization and role of mothers on drug abuse, which was done by our women groups, that is YKDA. Then there is another one that is T for Peace, that is Tebrim Meshai, the one we went and had a TCIPP, and we have discussed it and find so many solutions in respect of our communities. Then there is another one that is sensitization with people living with disability on this election and their involvement. It was also done by our women critical group. Then there is another one that is AWA mechanism, sensitization of drugs, peddling and drug abuse by youth, which was done in Kokwa Marusa community. So these are some of the activities that we have done so far. And what are the challenges which we have identified during that activities?
Sorry, before you move, what are the key successes of these activities that you did? Maybe you will discuss.
So, shall I discuss one by one?
What were the key?
So, when it comes to advocacy visits, the success on it, that is, most of these security agencies, they were aware of our activities, and they have given us a maximum cooperation and support. That is another success story about it. Whenever you go to Commissioner of Police office and you said that you are from IMC or CPO or whatever, he knows what we are doing and he knows the capacity that we are giving other communities. So it's another success story. When it comes to sensitization against youth involvement in Kauraye, it was done and everybody has seen it, that we call our youth on the effect or a negative aspect of this activity of Kauraye, and we have sensitized our youth to shun away from it so that they can even go and advise those who are involved in it so that our community will be at peace. It's another success story. Then on sensitization of youth on election violence, we also said it, and still we are seeing an improvement about it. In the olden days, almost all the youth they were involved in either rivalry clashes between either I belong to this APC or this person belong to this PDP, but we told them that they should not be partake in such kind of activities. It's another success because a lot of youth they are not involved in such kind of criminality in some communities, even though we have some where that we need to add more grease to our elbow. Then on intervention against harassment on food stock dealers. This one, if you can recall, there was a video that was going on viral. Then some of our dealers, food stock vendors from Dankama, they were being harassed by custom officers. They were asking them, especially on granite issues. Whenever they saw them with a granite, they normally bought it from Dankama market. But along the line, within going from Dankama to other LGs, they will be extorted with so much money. And if they were telling them that it was smuggled from Niger, they now they were disturbing them about it. So those people, they are willing to make a revolt on that market there at Dankama, so that whenever they saw any custom officer, they will take law into their own hand. So we intervene on it. We now call the right authority, and the custom officers, who I can say, Director DSS, call somebody from Abuja, and at the end, the person that was involved in such kind of activity, he was now on punishment cell. So it's another success story. If not, we don't know where that crisis will even stay. So it's another success story about what we have done. Then there is another thing, sensitization and role of women as mothers on drug abuse. We have been saying it. They said when you educate a mother, it's like you have educated the whole world. So those women working there organize this activity, and they sensitize their fellow women's group against drug abuse and how to know that whether your child or what is involved in such kind of activity. So based on that, they have narrated so many stories, success stories about, like, let me just give you an example of one of these stories. There was a woman that came on that very day. She said one of her child was involved in these football teams. So whenever they are about to start playing that football team, their coach will now come and give them certain drug and said, whoever swallowed it, you will not be tired. And then that boy went ahead and be telling his mother, said, Mama, before we started playing such kind of things, this is what they were giving us. And at the end, we found that what he was giving them is one of the drugs that is illegal. So the woman now stopped her child from involving from such an activities because she was involved in these sensitization activities. So it's another success story. Then there is another one that is TPOPs. And TPOPs, as we have all said, if you are looking for a peck and genuine stories for within our localities, especially our Salan, go to Table Nation. You hear the good and the worst. So we use that an avenue to discuss with people to know what is going on and what is happening within the community, and to find a solution for them and to advise them. It's another success story which, by God willing, will continue doing. Then there is another one, sensitization with PWD, that is people living with disability, on this election and their involvement. We have all said that based on our organization or CIPP, all people must be carried along, whether the bad ones or the good ones. So people living with disability, as Galadima said or something like that, so they should not be left behind. So that is why this women group organized a program, and that program they were called and based on that they gave them, they are too important to our communities. So it's another success story that they are not biased, they are part of us, they are equal to us. So it's another success story that they have done. Then there is EWA mechanism. This EWA mechanism, I can say, is one of the backbone that we are proud of it, because without knowing or having an information or what is happening in other communities, you may not even know what you are going to do. So this EWA mechanism, it was conducted, there is a sensitization conducted on drug peddling and drug abuse, which was done in Kopan Marusa community, and it was in what we have studied, we sensitize drug peddling and drug abuse, and you to know who are drug peddlers and who are drug abused. Based on that, some of these drug peddlers were in attendance for that, and they even agreed and refrained for such activities. And a lot of drug abuse were confessed that they will not partake in such kind of activities, which is another and is very important success on us. So then we are coming to challenges identified. Whenever you are conducting such of an activity, we have been saying all what we are doing is service to humanity, is a service to God. So when you are going to some NGOs like health and other sector, this, let's say this is a meeting that we are attending, you may end up having 50 or 20,000 for just attending that meeting. But this one, you are trying, this CIPP, they are trying to synergize you to know what is going on within your community. So they are not giving you money, so you have to source your own fund, and you cannot source the same fund that other NGOs they were giving. So that is why when it comes to our activities, you'll be that we are having a short funding or something like that. Then there is another challenges that we wanted to, more communities should be added or involved within this. Like now, when you look at the where the communities that they were involved in this CIPP or Kaurai and other things, maybe it was before we were having program in Kopo Marusa, and other things. So most of the neighboring communities that they were involved in such kind of activities, that we need to co-opt them, we need to merge them to be among us so that we can resolve the whole issues. Because when, let's say, it's like when your house is on fire, so maybe your neighbor's house is not on fire. The next thing that it is your neighbor's house. That is why it's one of the challenges that we are hoping that one day they will co-opt the other communities too. Then there is implementation of cashless policy to local community program and also hindered us from executing other activities. This cashless policy is not only when you are the one we are talking here right now. Initially, when you are coming for a program to communities, we normally give a stipend, either 2,000 or 1,000 for transport. Some, they don't have even the transport money. And now they said we are on cashless policy. So those people that they are coming, they cannot come because before when they are coming, they had a hope that when they came, they may have a stipend, maybe a little of transport money that they can take to over. At the end, they said you should provide an account, which that will make them so weak to even attend some of our programs. That is based on it. And based on the other, the other hindrance to it is there are so many activities that like now that we want to execute. Because of this cashless policy, why can you get a money to even to do it?
Go cashless.
Go cashless. So no Allah will go cashless. Then the last security instability also hindered other CPOs from reaching some selected communities. Like we have said, in Basari, Sapana, and some communities, that is Jibia. So the CPOs, they have a zeal or willing to reach to the other areas, which based on that security instability cannot make them to move from their own areas to that because they are not safer. That is why even when Sapana or Jibia or Basari, people they are coming for activity, mostly we normally give them an accommodation because of instability to even reach their own community, talk less of from their own community to go to. If you are in Basari, they said you should go to one village nearby. There is an issue that you are trying to resolve. You cannot go because of that security instability. So it's another challenge, a very big challenge. So sorry with my ball candle or our ball candle. So then there is what we call suggested solution. This suggested solution is there is a community lead ones, and there is government lead solution, and there is CIPP or basic course. So based on community is having a dedicated and good teamwork. That is like if you are, we can maintain to hour alert alone, we are going to solve so many issues. Even though we are not the one who are taking a law into our own hands, but the moment we now have an hour, that is early warning, early response mechanism, we have now informed what is happening to our CFAN. Before you know, then there is action that is going to be taken by the security, whatever personnel that they are going to handle such an issue. So then there is a government solution, which we are always, we have been saying things about banditry, youth receptiveness and other things. What I'm appealing to government is that this youth that they are idle, they should be engaged in craft activities, because they were saying a white collar job is not there. But we have craft centers.
Do you have centers in Katsina? I'm talking to the government now. Do you have centers in Katsina that we can have some of the youths that we identified in communities, the maybe cases you would have?
Each local government almost.
Can you indicate them here? Maybe you can get a paper.
Okay, so it's like now, when if the state government they are going to use BATC
and you can do it while other people are
okay.
So you can go to the next.
Okay, like let them utilize the BATC that we have, vocational training centers and other places, local craft and other things. We should encourage, give them more, because what we are expecting, most of our youth, what they need is white collar job. Without that, most of us salary earners now, we are the poorest people in ourselves. Those who are having a craft activity in the they are the ones that we are looking for to help us nowadays. So we should encourage government to provide more of such, so that our youth, they cannot be idle, because they said an idle mind is a devil's workshop. Whenever they are having something engaged, there is no way they can have a time for drug abuse or banditry or other things. You are always engaged. You have something doing, and you are not envying anybody. So that is why I call it a government solution, because it is a government and community people that will work within this area. The community will now identify the people that they are in need of such assistance. Then the government should help.
Yeah, so you should be brief. When you go back, your group can identify this.
Okay, then the last one is CIPP or basic of solution. That is the early response to action plan forwarded, and there is lack of communication or gap or follow up. That is whenever we have an action plan, so let CIPP or basic ops try and look at it as early as possible.
All existing women's skill acquisition centers in the 34 local government areas should be adequately equipped and managed. Now, we understand that there are women skill acquisition centers in all the 34 local government areas of Katsina State. Unfortunately, most of them are not adequately equipped, or they are not functional. Now, even though these centers are mainly for women, they are not functional and there are no equipments. What happened to the equipments that were initially stocked in these centers? Nobody knows. Whether they were stolen, whether whatever, we don't know. So there is a need for proper equipment of these places. Then number two, government should make sure that there are more youth skill acquisition centers to be established in all 34 local government areas for both male and female. Now, I said e.g. BATCs. This is addition to the skill acquisition centers. The BATC are schools, but the skill acquisition centers are craft centers where carpentry, welding, and the rest of them, mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, and so on and so forth are learned. But BATCs are where they learn crafts, arts, and so on and so forth. At the end, they get certificates. Then number 3, government should ensure that they create more awareness and sensitization for youths against drug peddling, drug abuse, and drug addiction, banditry, gender-based violence, GBV. There are many other forms of criminality. If government should be able to do this, we believe there will be peace and there will be peaceful coexistence in all our communities. That is why there is all this problem everywhere, because the youth are not engaged. They are not viably engaged. They don't have anything to do. They wake up from morning till evening and they need money to spend. They need something to keep them busy. They say an idle mind is so. If government should pay attention to that, can you imagine a situation where they spend millions of naira to establish these women skill acquisition centers and equip them, but now there is nothing? The only one that is existing and functioning is the one inside Katsina here at the Women's Center. That's the only one that is functional. That's the only one that has all the equipment and they are working. What happened to the others? Carelessness, abandonment. That is what we did. We believe everything will work out for the youth if they pay attention to this. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Kuma by equipping this. It's possible maybe I equipping when you go answer check when you vandalizing, because in the first instance you have to make the community members know the importance of one center in Mama Koka Mama Akapa one center. So when people don't see the importance of these centers, automatically, even if you go back and put a sewing machine and they'll still go back and steal it. I was even thinking of maybe the government-led solution. Maybe you come up with, like, we have CIPP structures in the communities. How does the government now in Katsina, how do you own these structures and make them your babies? In Mexico, exiting, is there any plan? Actually, maybe Ministry of Women Affairs or Youth Affairs or SA Security, one CIPP structure in some of the one structures in Sumutu. Acquire any plans by government to check about the engaging and structures, no matter YKDA, CPO, CMMRC, to co-opt them somehow. Activity the CLA at local government level. Because in I know the governor is 10 or ending, the governor is leaving, and you have somebody else coming. Is he seeing this as important? Is it something that we know is going to be feasible? If it's not feasible again, it's something we should internalize and see how we can do things that we know at the end of the day. I can take you up on it and I can say, yes, CIPP structures, skills acquisition, what have you been doing to make sure Chewa and Kapawa and Abubuwa with government acquire a lot of processes. And sometimes bottleneck. So is this, all these things, are they feasible? Maybe creating awareness. This is very beautiful. And I collaborating with CMMRC, CPOs, trained mediators, Malama Adini, the academic training, two madrasa teachers. But these two were boiling down again to resources. Yenzu government will tell you Babu borrowing some states are even cutting on the number of civil servants. If you go to Kaduna and teacher mutani, actually way verification some of the government. So what are we doing that is feasible? Because I know it's not possible. Government to be creating skills acquisition center. I've worked in villages. Somebody will go and. So please, the government led solution. I don't know what people can add or maybe remove it.
What I was thinking that initially, right from this 1 to 3, there is local crafts as a subject. That local craft people can call. From there you learn how to knit, how to craft so many things. So government what schools most education sectors they were doing, they are now reviving such things so that dependency will now be reduced from the government side, so that a lot of people will now become independent. If you can recall, those who were even now expert on poetry and other things, they learned it right from their just one to do when during their local craft activities and other things. And
we identify because we look at part of structures the Muke so we collaborating. Because from previous CLA sessions the Muke and other states see magana akan cewa yes muna aiki akan abubuwa da ya shafi zaman lafiya amma yawancin matasa ba su da abin yi. Kuma wannan project CIPP tun farko da aka bada kwangilan ba sa wannan component of skill acquisition ko a bada wani abu an yi maka magana akan zaman lafiya amma how will you stay ka zauna lafiya kai cikin ka babu resource. So yanzu as part of abubuwa da za ku yi, we're planning on yanda za mu yi collaborating yanzu at our level, at Mexico, at IMC, Paris, SCD, do activities da za mu yi ta kawo wa'annan mutane. So yayin identifying maybe matasa communities, abattoir and all, in sun faɗa abubuwa da suke son su koya sai mu zo mu yi ta linking insu to wa'annan wurare that we have in Katsina. Ko ba na gwamnati ba ko na private ne. So it's part of what we're planning to do.
So Fatima, as we said, our youth are ready to comply on what government came with. But our only problem is government, as it promised during its campaign, when it's looking for votes, it promised so many promises, but they are not ready to fulfill that promise it promised. Because if contestants like a governor is contesting, when he's going around the local governments, we Katsina State, we have 34 local governments. A candidate went to Jibia. Jibia has there are problems there. And if he went to Puntua has their problems there. So he promised particularly for the Jibia people. And he promised particularly for the Puntua people. So when it came into implementation, that governor, after he's win the election, so it's not looking, he will not look on what he promised during his campaign. Number one. Secondly, those people are using our youth, as what Baba said. Yes, because drug abuse, those people are using drug abuse during their campaign. So they are promising our youth, saying that after they are winning an election, they will give them job. So those youths are complying on what they said or on what they promised about. But after all, there are betrayers. those people are betrayers. Believe me, are betrayers. So how those betrayers will commit the youth into their own benefit? They will not. So my advice here is, these organizations try to join with our community leaders, our Islamic leaders, our people, to mobilize them that they should avoid all this kind of useless matters among the politicians. So I think this is what I can say. Thank you very much.
Then the parent teachers association and the school management. So this is what we are going to adopt as whenever we have any, in the olden days, we normally took our children from one community to either a welder man or something like that. Our own community people then will be responsible for it. Whenever you said you are relying 100% of government, you are failing yourself. It is not the government that is failing, it is you that you are failing yourself, because you know that they cannot fulfill it. But if SBMC and the community, SBMC and PTA, they can now unite and be running a school, we too, we can do it.
Under our group, there is two activities that we have identified. One of them is Tea for Kids, and the second one is constellation against anti-terrorism and drug abuse and banditry in Katsina State. The key senses of these activities is, number one is awareness among youth on danger of drug abuse. That is number one. Number two, work together different rival groups of top. The C, mutual understanding between community members and talks. D is coping rumors that occurs in the community. That is the table sharing. A, fostering peace among community members. That is the key success. Okay. Third is, number one is time management. You know our behaviors when we try to meet on phone. So halayen mu dai namu na African time na maybe za a ce za a yi abu karfe 4, so ba za a iya shi ba gina ma 5:30, maybe ana iya zuwa 6 ma. So matsalar da aka fara samu cikin wannan activities din da aka yi shine rashin time management. Lokacin da aka ce a zauna ba a zauna a daidai wannan lokacin ba. B, absence of security agencies. A lokacin da aka yi su wannan programs, a sani na da irin yadda aka tsara abubuwan, mun san da cewa an gayyaci security agencies irin kamar police, wanda a lokacin ni da ni aka turo commissioner of police ya alƙawari ya ce zai turo wakilan shi, amma a zaman gaskiya ba su zo ba. Da sauran agencies din ma dai a zaman da aka yi da teburin shayi din babu ɗaya daga cikin wannan agency din da ya zo. CIPP is logistic problem. An dan samu karanci na su abubuwan da aka dan aka raba wa mutane da sauransu. Sai D, matsalar da aka samu shine mun yi targeting, misali kamar an yi targeting na akalla mutum 50 ne, wanda a iya sani na attendance da muka samu mun samu over 70 participants. Kamar shi wannan teburin mai shafi nan da muka, wanda su ne penalties da muka ainihin fuskanta a su wancan activities din. Yawa sai ainihin solution. at community level. Number one, continuity of AWA mechanism by CPOs. Abinda mu za mu iya shi ne ko da wannan ainihin program ya tsara sauran wannan kungiyoyi sun kauce, to a matsayin mu na wanda muke wakiltar yankunan mu, to za mu ci gaba da ba da bayanan duk da suka taso a daidai lokacin da suka taso insha Allah. Na biyu, continuity of sensitization program. Dukkan abubuwan da ya shafi wayar da kan mutanen da muke cikin su insha Allah za mu ci gaba da yi, ba za mu tsaya ba. D, provision of logistic and activities to be continued by the community members. Shi ba za mu ci gaba, ba za a tsaya ba insha Allah. Then collaboration da muka ce za a ci ne. Number one, the association of people with sufficient needs should be included. Number B is NDLEA. The last one is NOAA. That is the
Yes. Tell us yanzu akwai NGOs ko CSOs ko government agencies da kuke gani ana activity na CIPP ba a yi da su da ya kamata a yi da su? Government, CSOs, wayanda suke cikin anguwanni da kuke gani these people are working, ya kamata ana CIPP da su amma ba a yi da su.
An yi magana kan NDLEA.
Akwai PISCO. NDLEA already muna da we have written to them.
Somebody gave NOA already.
They're giving us
Peace Corps. Are they effective in Katsina?
Very effective. Like a volunteer corps.
Okay.
Hunters Association.
Are they effective?
Hunters Association.
And what in each NGA they have in them. They were trained by
we have them
Yana iya zama kungiyoyi masu zaman kansu da suke maybe ayyuka akan maybe skills acquisition da kuke gani ya kamata a yi da su da ba a yi da su.
A zama yi maganar skill acquisition ba a yanzu ana ba kawo any of the skill acquisition ba. One of them yi magana.
Vocational training, feeding polo. BATC, okay.
Ko da kun yi magana ɗazun yanzu mu want to excite don abin da aka rubuta.
BATC a ina?
BATC filin polo.
You know,
Katsina.
so if that is the case, we are putting that BATC, why we should not include office of
and there is a women's center.
Women's center, okay.
So Katsina use crab blades. Somebody from the crab
blades. Then use crab blades.
Use crab blades. Katsina use.
Use crab blades.
Abin da ake so ga wannan da
NYSC camp.
Aka muka yi training masha sai mu tura su sun sai to kuma gashi ku dora daga inda muka tsaya kaga an yi collaborating da su kenan.
Okay. This NDLEA, you know they have a rehabilitation center.
Yes, they have a rehabilitation center.
Okay, so specifically you are targeting their rehabilitation center.
A cikin
wurin da ya kai office
cikin harabar sa da shi kwanakin ba wanda suke rehabilitating an yaye shi an ba shi tallafi.
An ba shi tallafi an ba shi ya je dogara da karshe sana'a.
So any other more? Ko da association na matasa a community da kuke ganin suna aiki na taimaka ma community development. Suma we can
like this Hilda. Hilwa
something.
Hilwa, okay. Suna cikin Katsina.
Yes, what does this stand for?
It's a women group, women right group.
Maybe we get their yes, so that we see how we can.